Welcome back, bitches. It is Talking Franchise with Angel Bonilla and Johnny Wong. Dun, 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 dun. All right. What are we talking about now? First Class, right?
Yep. We're talking about
did
First
Origins
Class today. Yeah.
Check those episodes out. The Origins. We did Wolverine Origins. We did Last Stand. We also did
X-Men 1 and 2.
X-Men 1 and 2.
Now we're going
X-Men
in
United. Now we're going to go into the second trilogy. The first movie. I just want to say it's one of the best X-Men movies. Probably second best. Because you got to add Deadpool into there.
It is the best X-Men
The best
movie.
X-Men movie. Hands down. Nah, I don't know. Nightcrawler, X-Men United is pretty dope.
X-Men First Class pretty much came out of nowhere. We've already talked about the history of the last two movies. Big pieces of shit.
This is how it should have started off, right?
All right, yeah.
Exactly how they did this one is how they should have
I
started.
had pretty much given up on this franchise. I remember it took me a couple of weeks to even go to the theaters to go see First Class,
Yeah.
but pleasantly surprised. And this was originally the plan after X-Men Origins Wolverine.
They were some fact checks right here.
Yeah,
Go ahead,
they were supposed to do the next spin-off movie, and it was supposed to be about Magneto, how he was going to be stuck in a concentration camp. They were just going to.
But instead they made First Class.
Well, because Wolverine was so bad, they just took the idea of taking a young Magneto, and then they kind of put it all together
molded into to have with the rest of the X-Men. All right,
but
so, it was a good idea.
This movie.
Michael Fassbender finally get to talk about his portrayal as Magneto.
Yeah. You were a little early on that. The
other episodes, but
no,
he's great. I just love him throughout the whole three movies.
The casting is really good in this.
Yep. James McAvoy, excellent Professor Xavier, Professor X.
Even though he can't get work in any other movies, he's got the franchise. He's got the X-Men franchise now. But yeah,
because he shaved his head and then he made that movie Split.
Oh yeah.
So it worked out for him, I guess, in the end because it made him look kind of crazy.
Yeah, it hasn't come out yet, but
that one's coming out. Go check that shit out.
It's by M. Night Shyamalan. Could be bad.
It's crazy because Legion. You know who Legion is in the X-Men?
Yeah.
Professor X's son. He's like that. He has split personalities, and each of his split personality has a separate power. So that's pretty cool. They got that too, the Legion on Netflix. I don't know what that's coming on, but I know it's Fox and Marvel are coming together to make that.
Because Wolverine was so bad, this time, this came out in 2011. They rebooted they decided to reboot it, but they still wanted to keep it a little bit connected to the old franchise.
Yeah.
This is the best X-Men movie that they've made, but my one gripe with it is that they should have went all out and just they should have stuck with this. By the end of this movie's ending, it's really good. By the end of this movie, it should have been its own thing. They shouldn't have connected the franchise to the other movies. Let this be its own thing.
A reboot of sorts, but it became instead of being a reboot.
You want to know what the best part about this movie is?
What?
There's no fucking Wolverine!
What are you talking about? There's Wolverine.
Yes.
There's one scene of Wolverine.
Here's one little scene.
And he makes an impact with that cameo. He's like,
hey, that's great. Hey,
fuck yourself.
Again, that's all the Wolverine we needed. And it was perfect.
It's the perfect amount of Wolverine.
We finally got an X-Men story where Wolverine's not relied upon to save the day. They're a team in this movie.
Wolverine has showed up in every movie, in every X-Men movie. Hands down.
Yeah. And
he's their mascot. Of course he's got to be in
some of the movies are bad. It's a good opening sequence, and it kind of shows how powerful Magneto could be. But what I don't understand either, when Magneto's doing all this, when he starts crushing everything, the soldiers' helmets, their heads get crushed, right?
Yeah.
And he's lifting everything up, right?
The dude just shot his mom, though.
Why doesn't he kill Kevin Bacon right then and there? He was moving all the metal, and
he killed the two guys.
Kevin Bacon just like wonderful. You wanted revenge on him. You could have just killed him right there. There's nothing holding you back. And
for plot reason, you need him to live. You need
Magneto
him to live
in that scene is getting his Wolverine on, going. Ah! But yeah, it's a
He was just screaming and shit. Yeah, and I was like, now that I look at it, he just killed those two guys for no reason instead of killing him.
yeah,
He could have took the gun and like made a shot at him, like shot him back with the gun. But nah.
Yeah, and then they introduce a young Mystique meeting a Charles Xavier, and so right off the bat, things that are happening in this movie is not how they were told or portrayed in the other movies. But I liked it. Again, it's a fresh reboot. We get to forget about the shit show that was X-Men 3 in
Last Stand
Origins.
in Origins, yeah.
But yeah, this movie stands on its own, and
First class.
and finally we get legit. I feel like we get legit villains.
Yeah,
In a-
Kevin Bacon. That's Sebastian Shaw. Yeah.
I mean, Kevin Bacon, he does kind of go out like a bitch towards the end, but up until that point,
It was an unfair advantage because Professor X was freezing, basically holding him, while Magneto's just like, all right, I'm taking my advantage right now.
But we get legit badass villains. 1 through 3, it was more of the again. It's Wolverine saves the day, and the big threat is Magneto. In this movie, we get the Hellfire Club, and again, Magneto's portrayal of he's good, he's bad. I liked it, but
That's how he's been through all the movies. Like, what side?
this movie shows you how the villain, the bad mutants, finally. It shows how bad they really can be, or how devastating. Awesome,
You're right. We definitely get
Awesome, Azrael. Azazel.
Yeah.
Badass. Nightcrawler's father. If Nightcrawler wanted to be bad, this shows how powerful he really could be.
Yeah.
That sequence when they rushed the camp to go find the teenagers and shit like that.
Oh yeah, the first scene. Is it Mystique? Right, Mystique is.
I'm saying. No, well, yeah, they're. Oh no, when. No,
that's.
I'm saying when the Hellfire Club goes to go get all the mutants or whatever.
They killed Darwin.
Yeah, yeah. I was gonna say that,
which makes no sense because Darwin's powers is to adapt to anything, so that does not happen. So that explosion, he probably would have.
Darwin's not a comic book character. I thought they just created him.
No, he's a. Again, he was in the X-Men.
I was gonna say at least this time we feel for the characters. I don't feel like they're underdeveloped. We legit care for each of the characters. Besides Darwin, who has his thing.
Yeah. His powers is to...
He can turn into fish.
Nah, he can't turn into fish. His powers is to adapt to anything.
Yeah,
super adaption. So no matter what happens, he's able to adapt to that situation. So in the comic books, he's always been able to... If he's about to die, about to get killed by something...
If there's a bloody situation, he can be like...
With that energy,
just absorb.
He probably would have just became energy. In that moment, his whole body probably would have just became energy and absorbed that, and then transferred.
Darwin was a little underdeveloped, but in the movie, all in all, like you legit care for the characters. It was a great introduction of Havoc. He's supposed to be Cyclops' brother. There's some funny scenes in that too. Professor Xavier trying to get him to develop
control his powers. Yeah, it goes all over the place. They have Banshee.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I always like Banshee.
Scream. Just the way they introduced
and the way they use them too, because the way they use them at militant. They use them in the movie for sonar, right? At the end of the fight, they use them as a sonar.
Everyone has a purpose. They all got to play as a team. Beast, he's good. I mean, someone the other day was complaining about the CGI of Beast, saying that he looked fake. I
think he looked Teen Wolf, like mad.
Well, he is he's young.
So it's supposed to be a teenage Beast, so they're supposed to make it look like a little bit. You know what I mean?
And he can, when they first start, he's not even really big. They went original comic books. He has hands for feet instead, which again I like that too. And then eventually, doesn't he? He takes
evolves.
He evolves with the serum that he takes or whatever.
Mm-hmm, becomes more beast-like. So I like Beast, Nicholas Hoult in this movie. What you were saying earlier that Bryan Singer chose to do the. What's the name of the movie?
Oh yeah, I was originally. Bryan Singer was approached to direct this film, and he declined, and instead went on to do Jack the Giant Slayer, which he hired Nicholas Hoult to do that too.
Nicholas Hoult, character.
Again, Good. Fuck Bryan Singer. He wrote.
And then Bryan Singer is always trying to take the actors too.
It was his.
Take the actors
It was his goddamn fault that Last Stand was
Even
what
happened,
it was.
yeah.
So you know what? No, Matthew Vaughn. He wrote and directed this film. He does a great job, and he went on to go do Kick-Ass after this.
Kick-Ass is pretty good. I like Kick-Ass.
Matthew Vaughn.
Matthew Vaughn's not that. Yeah,
he's a good director.
Good director. Got some, hits on his belt.
Imagine what X-Men Last Stand could have been if they hadn't tried to rush it. Because remember, I told you Matthew Vaughn was originally hired
But they
to
got
do
that.
Last Stand.
They have that they have to make the movie. If not, they lose the rights. So imagine. So you're like, fuck it.
They probably had some
Make a
time.
movie.
They wanted to make money.
Let's see. I think they probably was at the end of their I think it's 5 years. They have to come out with a movie every 5 years. If they don't, they fail to do that.
I don't know all the details.
No, I've read that before. I've read the details. Is supposed to be Fox is supposed to make an X-Men movie every 5 years. So you go. Let's see, X-Men. I'm gonna check it out real quick because I'm pretty sure you have to. If not, the rights go back to the company. So they're gonna make a shit. They're like, even if they're not ready, they're like, shit, we can't wait. We have to make the movie right now. If not, we're gonna fucking lose it.
This was a lower budget. This movie was made for like 150 million U.S. box office wise. It was the lowest grossing X-Men movie. It only made 155 mil over here.
Yeah,
but that's because of how bad the last two movies were. But even though it didn't make as much over here, and Fox was pretty disappointed with the numbers, critically, this movie did great. I think Rotten Tomatoes right now, if you look it up, it's like 87% positive.
87%. What about on IMDb? How many?
The goodwill was created, though. People were going to come for the sequel.
Days of Future Past is 91% on Rotten Tomatoes. Right?
Yeah, that's even better.
That's a good movie. Yeah, Days of Future Past.
I
think Days of Future Past. They were able
Days of
successfully
Future
to
Past is able. They were able to make that movie because of the goodwill that they made from First Class. And like I said, we'll get to that another time when we do Days of Future Past. I don't think they needed to do that story right away. I was still more interested
in seeing where these guys were going, right?
Yeah.
What happened to Bat? I was the same way. I was like, what the fuck happened to Bat?
No, these are all great characters, and the way the movie ends with...
yeah, they developed these characters so great.
Magni. Oh, and I will say this. I do like the villains in this movie, but the actress playing Emma Frost...
Yeah.
A little iffy.
She's like a little bit not...
and her character's where you can tell, all right, there's a little lower budget, because when she's all crystallized, it does look a little cheap. But again, the story's there. The story's there. And
I like all the villains in this one, too. Riptide. Was it Riptide? Azazel.
But we can all agree, they have more to do. They have more to say than fucking Toad and Sabretooth did in the original X-Men.
They definitely have more to say.
It's hands down. This is my favorite.
Have your favorite X-Men movie? I would say, yeah, I like First Class. Only because like Magneto sells me.
Michael. This is our introduction to Michael Fassbender. I don't think I had ever seen a movie with him in it.
Mystique, Jennifer Lawrence, she's all right. I don't think she's good enough to like do a Mystique movie.
Again, in this first movie, Mystique, she's one of the main characters, but it's fine. They don't completely focus all of the movie's energy on her. Again, this was an ensemble cast, and her involvement later on in the series, I think, kind of derails the X-Men a little bit.
Yeah.
But Jennifer Lawrence in this movie is not, it's Jennifer Lawrence. The Hunger Games hadn't come out yet, so this is a young startup. But yeah, Jennifer Lawrence, she's good in the role that they give her to.
In the first one, but I don't like, because I was hearing they wanted to make a Mystique movie, like a Mystique spin-off, and I was like, no.
In the future now,
I don't think enough to hold like that own movie by herself. That she would be Mystique. They would definitely have to put more characters in it, like feature other different characters. The Gambit movie they haven't came out with.
Mystique should be a full-on villain, not the motherfucking hero and leader of the X-Men.
She's a hero so far. So like, how does she get to the point? Well, I guess that's what they did with X-Men Days of Future Past. That they made it so that
she was going to become villain, but then she doesn't
good.
because how they did that. But But I like
Doctor from
I like the relationship that they had between Professor Xavier and Magneto. They play that pretty good too, and
how he teaches them. He teaches everybody. He even teaches Magneto how to use his powers.
Yes,
it's pretty cool.
Professor Xavier can feel his pain. Thank you, Eric, for sharing that memory.
And he was a player too, right?
I see your mother was very beautiful. Yeah, and I love that too, Charles Xavier.
He's a playboy.
Yeah, he's trying to.
He's bagging all the girls.
That's where some of the film's comedy comes from. He's trying to be charming, and he's like, he's got like a line at the bar that he uses on all the girls.
Oh, it's all about mutation.
Yes.
Calling them mutants and then hitting on them and say, yeah.
Yes.
You want to see my mutant power? I can make you have pleasure from across the room.
But he
can because he can control your mind.
But he's not attracted to Mystique. That's like his sister. Oh, no.
Yeah, that's my sister.
That. This is yes.
He's racist. I've never seen him with.
He's like, yeah, you're beautiful as a human being when you're blue. Goddamn.
No, get out of here. That's messed up. The guy who's fighting for mutant equality is a bit of a racist.
Yeah.
It's fucked up. Professor X.
This is before he became a pedophile.
Yeah, it started like...
I think he went downhill once he changed once he lost the feeling.
Talk about it, Days of Future Past when he's shooting up. He's shooting up. And Days of Future Past is like... Which brings it, because they also bring that formula that he created off of Mystique.
I like how they bring in like real life situations into this movie. The whole finale it's set up. They connect it to the real world with the Cuban Missile Crisis. You got the you got JFK in the movie, and isn't it at one point they talk about JFK maybe a mutant?
Yeah,
I get
that one was a good one.
That was great. The way that they wrapped the whole plot around
the history, and they made it like real. They made it realistic enough for you to be like, oh wait a second. That was cool. First Class. They got the fucking... What else is in it? Havoc. Angel.
Finally, Angel done right on the big screen.
Nah, this is not the right Angel.
She was all right though. Come to find out,
Warren never got justice.
She gets murdered in Days of Futures Past. They kill off all these characters after they fucking work so hard to introduce everything. Yeah, like everything's so good, and
you don't get Banshee in the second one. Even though Days of Future Past is great,
you get a little. You get a little cameo from Havoc and everything. I'm gonna say I love Days of Future Past, but I'm disappointed that they went 10 years into the future.
Yeah,
and no one's aged. And we've now gone through 30 years in the last 3 movies, and nobody's fucking aged.
Yeah,
they all look the same.
They got the fountain,
and they
got the Philosopher's Stone.
Fox being Fox, fucking mishandling the fucking X-Men. Again, X-Men franchise, it's a love-hate thing.
Yeah, but it was different from the first the trilogy, because the first 3 trilogy, it was X-Men 1 that was a little bit on both sides that you saw good and negative, and then the second one was bombed off.
This one is definitely...
The First Class was bombed, and then the second one was like, even though it was good, it was still like lacked a little bit of things. Like they definitely even like showing like what happened in Wolverine. How did he grow his claws back? Right? There leave so many questions from X-Men Days of Future Past. That's why you can't leave questions in a movie, because if you leave plot holes, people are like, they don't know, you know what I mean? They're not satisfied in those areas that you leave those plot holes.
But again, this movie was Fox taking a step back and saying, all right, we've made a mistake. And they sat back and they let Matthew Vaughn and the writers do their thing. And from top to bottom, it's a great movie. It is hands down best X-Men movie.
I mean, I'm looking at some of the Morgan Lilly, who played 9-year-old Mystique, wore a slip-on bodysuit and facial appliances, which only took 1 hour and a half to apply.
Oh yeah, I read that.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, the makeup, Mystique. Another thing, applaud to Jennifer Lawrence, because you have to be there for like hours on end, just getting makeup done. Just sitting there, just standing still. So, Alan Cummings, I don't know how much they were paying Alan Cummings. He was probably like, they'd probably try to approach him and say, hey, you're going to play this?
Well, it was Alan Cummings. Who the fuck is he?
Nightcrawler.
I know. He don't. I'm saying.
But who are you to ask for money?
Why do you need to get paid?
But he's got to put on all that makeup.
Anybody could play fucking Nightcrawler.
I don't know, but Alan Cummings knocked it out.
I could play Nightcrawler. Uncut Wagner.
Nah, fucking Alan Cummings knocked it out the park. He's Who else did he end up playing? He's played mad roles like.
No, he became He's done a whole bunch of movies before that, obviously.
Yeah, but him as Nightcrawler, I liked him as Nightcrawler. I don't know why he fucking couldn't stay. They should have just put up the money. Fucking Hugh Jackman be like, yo, Hugh, you're gonna be in mad movies. Shut up. Take a pay cut. He's like, I am Wolverine.
I said Nightcrawler was originally supposed to have.
Australian.
He was going to have a cameo in Last Stand, but it was so small. At the end, they were like, "This isn't even worth it to even put on the makeup." So they just said, "Fuck it."
He should have been in the movie. They have a story of like what he was doing. Meanwhile, but you would have to pick up the comic book to see what he was doing apart from X-Men. Oh, there's the video game. That's what it was.
Yeah,
that I played. You play the video game, and it tells you what happened from.
He is in the video game.
I played that video game. It's pretty dope. He plays Nightcrawler.
Yeah, wasn't it called Wolverine? X-Men 2 Wolverine? Again, it was about fucking
Wolverine. Nightcrawler.
It was Wolverine's Revenge.
Yeah. So you got Night. They should have started like always been saying. Like I've been saying the whole time. They should have started the X-Men with the first 5. Because then now it's all jumbled up.
You know, this movie has style. I like what they did with it. And then I said the only it's what makes the movie. I like that it's put in the 60s. But then Fox is too impatient right now because they just want to get back to the fucking present.
What about this? Storm and Cyclops featuring First Class in the 60s, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they're showing us kids.
And then 20 years later, they're teenagers.
I know. But all right, before those movies come out, this movie doesn't have plot holes. Again, it was supposed to be its own remake.
On its own remake.
And then, Fox wanted to fucking meddle and do other shit. And my only complaint too with this, right? They put it in the 60s. If they wanted to get to the present so fucking bad, then why even put this movie in this? You should have just fully rebooted it and had all these characters, still introduce all these characters. They wouldn't have that problem. Oh, now we're going 10 years ahead, 10 years ahead, 10 years ahead. Like
skipping years and not sticking to the story.
I was.
Nobody's aging. Everybody's got Wolverine's healing factor.
I was very interested in finding out what they were going to do. I seen First Class in the theaters at least 3 times, and I was excited. I'm like, okay, X-Men's back. Let's see what they do with it. They
did bring the dynamic from the comic books where Professor X and Magneto are supposed to represent Malcolm X and fucking Martin Luther King. So they do bring that dynamic into the movie. They show you why Magneto, why Eric is the way he is. Eric is because he's seen his people get tortured. He's seen his mother get killed because he didn't express his mutant powers.
You can sympathize with Magneto,
definitely.
Even though he's still a dick at the end for trying to kill humans. But at least in this movie, they give you a legit reason, and they make them badass. We had villains in this movie that didn't give a fuck. They were killing people left and right.
Yeah, freaking Azazel. Azazel's like dropping everybody on their head, like bop, bop, like he was like teleporting and then dropping people on their head. Yeah. That was a dope scene. I was like, imagine if Nightcrawler did that shit.
There isn't really anything bad to say about this movie, other than what they did later on with the movies. They kind of
this movie was great.
Yeah, they take away that shine. Same thing. Last Stand took away that shine from X-Men 2. Oh, we all loved it, and then they followed it up. The way they just ended this trilogy kind of takes the shine away from First Class, but I still love it. It is my favorite one.
Yeah.
And then again, this because it didn't do as well at the box office. Fox was like, "Fuck it, let's put them together. Let's make more money." Luckily for them, critically it does great as well, and it makes its money, but. again, I feel like they forced it and they rushed it.
Yeah, definitely. But still,
we'll get into that movie next
the
time.
next episode. First Class is over. One more thing I just want to say before we finish. Why the fuck was Professor X by himself in his house when he was a little kid at 12 years old? That big ass mansion.
No, his mother was somewhere.
His mother must have been out. You know, she was the type of bitch to be out because he was like, "Wait a second, this bitch is gonna make me peanut butter."
He said, "My mother doesn't make hot chocolate." She's never. He said she's never been in this.
Least of all, hot chocolate. It's like, bitch, what you doing inside the kitchen right now?
But yeah, that is a big house for just him and his mama to be living in.
That's the whole mansion, right? That's a fucking shit. Damn.
Did they even bring up Professor Xavier's father in that movie?
Nope. They don't bring the father don't show up.
Him and his mother just live in that big ass mansion.
Would have been a cool nod to show like his stepbrother show up.
Come find out 10 years later, it's only him and Beast now living in that mansion.
Mm-hmm.
But that's next time.
Next time on Talking Franchise. Oh, because what leads him on the freaking onto drugs? Oh, he gets shot in the back and paralyzed. We didn't tell that at the end either. Hold on, before we finish, one more last one.
Well, I did.
Magneto did not cause Professor X to be paralyzed. That was Moira McTaggart. That bitch started. Who the fuck tries to shoot Magneto with bullets that are made of fucking metal?
That scene when he does get paralyzed. That's probably one of the only corny parts where I still kind of laugh when
because it was an accident.
I can't feel my legs. A little corny, but
yeah, it was a little bit type of corny.
They put him in the wheelchair, and now him and Magneto are enemies, and rightfully fucking so. Magneto's a dick.
Fuck that shit. It was Myra's fault. It wasn't your boy. He even tried to go help him. He was like, "Oh," and he was like, "Get away from me." And then he dipped. He took Mystique. You know, he was banging Mystique for a while. Definitely getting his blue on. He wasn't stupid. He was like, this girl can change to anybody that he wants her to. What about when Magneto was in the bar scene? Magneto's like fucking. He's like, he takes
legit. He's badass.
He is badass. He goes in there, stabs the guy, makes the gun shoot somebody, shoot the other guy, and then takes the knife, stabs the guy in the hand, and throws the knife at the. He's a badass in this movie. He tried to lift up a submarine while he was in the water. I bet you if he was standing on something and he was trying to get that submarine out the water, he would have fucking got that submarine out the water.
This is what I mean. We didn't talk about that shit on the podcast.
Damn, we should have talked about that shit. But
so next time we'll get multiple people. We'll just be better prepared for.
I'm trying to think of his badassery. He fucking turned all the missiles. Michael Fassbender's that guy. I heart Michael Fassbender.
I gotta watch Days of Future Past again anyways or whatever, but I wanna write some shit down so we have questions for the podcast where we can just shoot back and forth about certain key sequences.
Certain sequences.
Then that's how we get the dialogue going. Because now it doesn't matter because we can just jump. We're talking about the movie. People have already seen it. We can just jump anywhere and talk about stuff. So we can ask questions in any random order. Like I said, we just started talking about the ending at the very beginning. So the questions, the questions don't have to have.
We're just talking about the movie.
It's in general it will flow better. We don't.
It was great though.
We don't need to get snagged up. But yeah, for Days of Future Past. Did you see the director's cut yet?
Days of Future Past,
The road cut?
The road cut.
Yeah, I never seen that one. I know it was like 15 minutes long on it.
It's good.
Anna Paquin's in it more.
It makes sense because Kitty Pryde gets sliced up by Wolverine. You're like, oh, she didn't bleed out. Yeah. They go and take her,
But I heard, they said it's just longer. They didn't say that version's better. It's just...
Professor X and Magneto go and save Rogue, right? And some of the scenes are different. They show you how Mystique, like they fill it in and like fill you in on the whole story and how everything got to everything.
Did you see Wolverine's director's cut? The Wolverine director cut in Japan? I watched it the other day. It adds 15 more minutes. They say fuck.
So we'll talk that next time on Talking Franchise.